So hi, good morning, everybody. Well, I think it's going to be good evening for most of you, and depending on where you're joining us from. My name is Tomi Abiodun. I'm the founder of TitanRConsulting, and I will be moderating today's discussion on how to blend your experiences to write a great essay. Before we go into the weeds of the discussion, I would like to take you through a few things about TitanRConsulting, especially for those of us that are very new here and we've never attended a TitanRConsulting webinar. So I already told you who I am, right? I'm the founder, I'm the senior consultant. I started TitanRConsulting in 2019 when I graduated from The Ohio State University for my MBA. I presently work at Microsoft as a senior product manager for Azure Data, and that's my day job. My 5 to 9 is TitanRConsulting. That is my passion project that I work on aggressively to ensure that much more people have access to opportunities that can help them succeed. So while we exist, it's just going to be a very brief story because I know a lot of you have heard this over and over again. I would say that TitanRConsulting was born out of the experience that I had going through the entire business school process, but not just getting admitted to business school, but also surviving the rigors of business school, like trying to land a job in tech, recruiting for consulting. And I've seen a lot of gaps, a lot of challenges that international students particularly face. And I can see how having access to the right information can help you be successful. I know, Ayomide, you said you can't hear a thing. Emmy, and Emmy, I know you have your video on. Can you hear? Is it just Ayomide that can hear? Can every other person hear?
I can hear you.
Okay.
I can hear you.
Okay.
I can hear you.
Okay. So Ayomide, I think it's your microphone or something that you're using, or your earpiece. Yeah. So, and as I was saying, it's based off of the challenges that I faced when I was in business school and all of the experiences. And I said, well, if I'd gone through all of this and I was still able to come out successful, I need to make sure that people don't even have to go through this, because yes, experience is the best teacher, but it doesn't have to be your own experience. It could be the experiences of people around you. Because what's the point of somebody going through all of this rigorous process and failing, learning, unlearning, and then you still have to go through the entire process? You know what makes people successful is when they're able to build up on the experiences and the failures of others instead of starting from scratch all over again, right? So that's actually the reason why we started TitanRConsulting, to make sure that we bridge that gap and we provide accessibility to better information, better resources that can help us be successful. Now, for TitanRConsulting, we focus on two main things. We focus on our admissions coaching. Let me go back. Yes, so for TitanRConsulting, we focus on admissions coaching, so graduate school admissions coaching, and we also focus on career services. Career services is not limited to graduate school, though. So we focus on career services within the US, outside of the US, helping people land remote opportunities, helping people land international opportunities from their home country. And we've had a lot of successes. So a few schools that our clients have been able to gain admissions at are listed there, and a few companies that our clients actually walk in. It's been an exciting 3 years, and we're excited and very pumped to see what we're going to achieve in the next year and the coming years. So I'll take you through just few facts. Did you know facts? Because I said a lot of you are new, if a couple of people are new, and just so that if somebody's watching this webinar for the first time, they have an idea of who we are and what we do. So we offer one-on-one admissions, MBA admissions coaching process to take you through all of the steps from your school selection or school selection decision for application to the school selection for a decision, right? So we have all of that, and that includes like networking coaching, essay writing coaching, your resume coaching, recommendation letters, admission interviews, and everything in between. We also offer visa interview prep for people that would be requiring visas, student visas, to attend their graduate school. We'll also offer our graduate admissions course. I know that if you have attended our last 2 webinars, we have spoken about our graduate admissions course. We are happy that it will be going live by the end of this week. I believe we have a lot of things already in place. And the only difference between the graduate admissions course and the one-on-one MBA admissions coaching is it's a do-it-yourself thing. You're not going to get a consultant hold your hand throughout the process, but you have all of the information. If you now require help, maybe you want a brainstorming session, you want your resume to be reviewed or any of your documents reviewed, then that's going to be a different package where you would work with us on. So it's going to be like an add-on on the admissions cost. But I understand a lot of us like to do things at our own pace. So if you love doing things at your own pace, you just want to have access to your admissions cost, you can rewatch it several times. Well, I think that the cost would be great for you. And the good thing is you have access to it for 6 months, which is basically the time between when you even start thinking about, oh, I want to get into business school, I want to start my entire process, to when you are able to actually get an admission decision. So, well, 80% of our clients in last cycle actually got full rides to top MBA programs. It is great. And 100% of people that actually got into school got between 50 to 100% of scholarships. That's really great. Then for our clients, we have 70% of them that got their MBA internship interviews before starting school this fall. And I'm happy to announce that we have at least 6 offers from our clients who just got into business school that use our career services, and they got these offers in a month of starting school. So that's really, very great. And I'm very happy and I'm very proud of them. So if you want to learn more about this, just send us a message. We're going to drop the details of our emails. We're going to get the TitanRConsulting team to drop the emails, our WhatsApp number, our Instagram details, and then you can send us an email, you can send us a text, you can send us anything, and we'll be happy to respond to you as soon as we can. If you have any questions, please type your questions in the chat box. If you have any questions, type your questions in the chat box. Grace will be getting back to you on the question that you asked on the one-on-one coaching. I would always say before you go through the one-on-one coaching, it will be good for you to watch our video on Learn About Us, like basically learn about our graduate admissions coaching service, so you know what it is and you have the right expectations working with us. And then we can send you our price list and we can get started. Now, in the last two webinars we have spoken about navigating the entire MBA admissions process, and we also had like a current MBA student Q&A session last week, which was really great. I loved all of the questions that were asked at the webinar because it even made me think deeply, and I'm so impressed by the kind of questions and thought and the intelligence of people in this generation. It's really great. So today we're going to be talking about how you can blend your personal and professional experiences to write great essays. A lot of times when I get people when we talk about essays, people just say, oh, how do I write a personal statement? Now, I know personal statement is something that a lot of graduate schools use, but for the MBA program specifically, I mean, we don't focus just on MBAs, but most of our clients are the MBA programs, for the are interested in the MBA programs rather, but for the MBA program specifically, you hardly have personal statement. The essays are broken down into different categories. So they have things like, oh, what are your immediate short and long-term goals? So immediate goals post-MBA, and then what are your goals 10 years post-MBA? They ask questions like, oh, how exactly would this school help you achieve your goals? Then they ask questions like, oh, tell me about a time you have made an impact in the life of somebody. Or tell me about a time you actually failed or you have displayed servant leadership. So they ask really very specific questions, right? And the questions are not just about your personal statement. So it's always very important that if you're coming into the you're interested in an MBA, specifically if you are interested in an MBA, you should know how to tie your personal and your professional experience together to tell a good story, because it's not just about your personal statement. But even the personal statement is about tying your personal and professional experiences. So a lot of times people think about graduate school and they feel it's only just my professional experience. So if I'm going for a master's in data analytics, I'm going for an MBA, or I'm even going for a PhD in English, it just has to be all of the things that I have done professionally to prepare myself. But that's not all that is required of you. Because remember, we have a lot of other intelligent minds, like your minds out there, and they're trying to do the exact same thing. So the only way you can actually stand out is weaving in your personal story, your personal experience. And I'll take you deeper into that. Olamigoke, I know you have shared the WhatsApp, the email. Please, can you share the link to the one-on-one conversation, one-on-one, consulting, and also send the link to the learn about our graduate school admissions so that people can just get to watch that YouTube video. Is a 9-minute video before they have a one-on-one, they schedule their one-on-one consultation with us. Now, for your personal experiences are very varied. We all have different personal experiences. When I put life experiences here, they're just like the things that have happened to you, like your journey so far. And then you have family. Our family dynamics are totally different. And the thing that actually sets us apart, what makes you different from me, is a combination of all of these experiences. My life experiences, my family experiences, and any extraordinary event that has happened to me is totally different from what has happened to you. And that's why it's going to be very different when we are shaping our stories. And I'll take you deeper into the extraordinary event, family, and life experiences. So extraordinary events don't have to be all bad. A lot of us think that, well, extraordinary events, since we are, majority of us are from Africa, we have to talk about something bad that has happened. Maybe we had a family member that passed away, or we were in like a tragic accident, something really, really gory. Maybe about how we walk 10 miles every day to go to school. It doesn't have to be that bad all the time. And yes, to be honest, I'm not saying that. I get a lot of people say, well, Africa is very beautiful. We have a lot of things. Why do they only show the bad things in the media? Yes, it is wrong that they only show the bad things in the media. But the reality is the bad things are greater than the good things. And that's the truth if we're going to be very, very honest, right? So showing, like, I know we're from diverse places here, but if the Nigerians have a place where they call maybe Lekki or Victoria Island, and some of those places are really very beautiful, and then you thinking that the media should only showcase that as, oh, Nigeria is so pretty, it's so nice, but that is how many percentage of people have access to that? So I'm not saying they should show the slums all of the time, but I'm just saying the reality is, don't let's get too bitter when they show the slums, because that's the reality for many people, for majority of us. And then we portraying that Victoria Island is the entire Nigeria is actually very, very wrong. Yes, we shouldn't portray the slums as the entire Nigeria, but we should have like a good balance. So I'm saying if you started from the slum, it's okay. But I know a lot of people try to sell the story that they came from poverty, they came from struggle, which a lot of people did. But if you didn't come from struggle and you didn't come from poverty, you don't have to. Like, you don't have to say you came from those things to be able to share your own experience. Because you didn't experience something personally doesn't mean you don't have empathy for people that have experienced those things, right? So you don't have to always lie. Like, you see essays and people just write things, and yeah, it's already getting too cliche. I walk 10 miles. Yeah, they know we have cars. Like, you don't have to keep selling the poverty story if you are not poor. There's some people that came from, like, their backgrounds were bad, and then it's when you read those essays, they're able to give examples to buttress the things that they're saying. But for some people, they just like make things up because they feel like, oh, that's the only way these people want us, or they will be able to give us scholarships. But that's not it. That's not it at all. It's about the value you're trying to bring. Then your family dynamics are totally different. Some people grew up in single parent households. Maybe it was just their dad or their mom. Some people grew up in what's the name of this thing? Polygamous homes, right? Some people had to move homes different times. Some people didn't even grow up in any home, while some people had really structured family, like father, mother, kids. But some people that even had father, mother, kids, they experienced a lot of challenges there. And some of those things help inform their decisions, help inform how they think. So it's good for you to have a retrospective thinking to understand all of these challenges that I've gone through, this extraordinary event. It might not even just be challenges, these beautiful experiences, this time spent with my family, all of these things. How has it helped shape my thinking? How has it helped shape my outlook to life? How has it helped put me in a particular direction? And how does it compare to how other people are thinking about things? Because I would give myself as an example, right? Growing up, I would not say I was sheltered, right? But I had like the best parents, and I always got everything that I needed. So I would not even say, I wouldn't even tell a story of I came from the church. Like I can't even tell that story because it makes no sense. Now, it does not mean that my parents had all the money in the world or even had a lot of money, but it's more of what I perceived then, how they made me see life at that point, right? So I didn't feel like I lacked anything. And I also felt growing up that I had the right career support, career mentorship. My dad started his career at the now PwC, where I also started my career. And his friends also did the same thing. So even before I was born, they already worked at the Big Fours and they already left. So growing up, I saw them and I wanted to be like them. I knew that, oh, if I get into a Big Four, I could make manager in 5 years. I had those goals. I already had that. So everything that I did, it was, I knew that this was what I was going to do. But my experience is not the same with the experiences of a lot of people. A lot of people did not have the career guidance, oh, this is the thing, these are the things that I need to do to get to this next level. People didn't have it, right? But I know people didn't have it. And I'm trying to say, how do I bridge that gap? How do I make sure more people have access to this information, even if their parents did not work in these particular companies growing up, or even if their parents' friends don't have those experiences? So that's a story I can tell. Doesn't mean I went through the challenges. Doesn't mean I didn't have career support growing up, but it means that I had it and I want other people to also experience it. So it doesn't have to be that, oh, all of the time I went through all of these challenges. But it could also be that, oh, I had family members that have passed away from very challenging diseases that have made me really think, how exactly can we make these things better? So that could also be a story, right? So you need to look through those your personal experiences and get things out. Now, I've said a lot of things about my childhood growing up, and some of you might be thinking, do all of my personal experiences have to be from growing up? No, actually, it doesn't have to be from growing up. A lot of our personal experiences, you can have an extraordinary event happen to you at 20 or even 25. Anything can happen at any time, right? So you just have to be able to think through things. The way I think now, the direction I'm going now, what is that thing that has happened to me? Or was that experience? Or how has somebody impacted me? It could be somebody impacting you. It could be an experience it could be something you saw on TV and then that thing sparked something inside of you. But you need to be able to find that personal thing that you anchor on your essay. Then we now have your professional experience. Your professional experience is where I think a lot of us talk. We were always able to talk about it. We've studied this, we studied that. And sometimes our essays are just filled with our professional experiences, which is great, which is amazing. But that's not just all to it. Now, your professional experience is not just your current job. I know we have current job listed here. So your current job and the previous things that you have done. Then your professional qualifications, and then other certifications like just your maybe Coursera, Udemy, just certifications that you take out there. Those things are really very important in telling your professional experience. I see people telling me that, oh, I studied, I'm a doctor, but I want to go to business school. And I'm sure you're wondering, how exactly would a doctor going to business school, like how can a doctor tell his professional and personal experiences to make sense for an MBA application? Now, this is where it has to be a good blend. So as a doctor, there are different things you can do as a doctor. You could be a doctor in business. You could be managing hospitals. You could be a doctor that you want to scale your reach. So you don't just want to be like an attending and just going to the hospital and having like maybe your shifts. You want to be somebody that comes up with an idea that is able to help other doctors succeed. And as a doctor, you have gone very, very deep into medicine. You probably have like a focus area, maybe anesthesiology or something that you're really focused on. And you're thinking, how do I scale this? This is where some of your personal experiences and even professional will come to play. So for example, as a doctor, you're thinking through, well, maybe it could be that a lot of people in some particular part of maybe West Africa or Southeast Asia, they don't have access to certain resources, they don't have access to certain things. And you know that the cost of medicine is really very high. Like cost of healthcare is so high in those places, those people cannot afford it. So you want to come up with maybe it could be an application to maybe easily detect things before they get really bad. Right. So something like that. I mean, something like that. And then you're coming up with this idea, but you've worked as an anesthesiologist all your life. How exactly do you even start to think about coming up with those things? You don't really know so much about like technology or, yes, I mean, you're innovative, but just in the business way. So you tell the story about how, you saw these gaps exist. And you have all of these professional experiences as an anesthesiologist, or as a pediatrician, as a family doctor. You know actually how to help solve things for people, just one person at a time. But now you want to scale it to a whole lot of people. So you do that by thinking about maybe coming to business school and looking through a particular business school that is big on entrepreneurship or innovation. They have like maybe an innovation lab, and they are going to be able to help you. I mean, they're not going to help you set up your company, but you're going to have a lot of experiences to think through, how do I set up a company? What are the things that I have to do, that I have to put in place? My finance, my data analytics, my strategy, my marketing. Those are the things that the MBA, if that's the MBA, will put in place for you. So that's kind of how to tie your story together. Now, depending on your program, if you want to do like a master's in analytics, a PhD, you need to think about this program. What will it do for me? And how have my personal and professional experiences prepared me? Don't always think that your personal and professional experiences are not aligned, because people would say, oh, I've only worked as a receptionist, or I've only worked in admin and I want to do a PhD in English. I don't think my personal and professional experiences have prepared me. But if you think back, why exactly did you think about a PhD in English? Maybe you do a lot of creative writing, right? Yes, you worked as a receptionist, but you have a very good undergraduate GPA. You do a lot of creative writing. You have published some papers. In fact, it might not even be that you have actually published papers officially. You might have been somebody that has written a lot of blogs. You have a lot of articles to your name. Those are the things that form your personal experiences also that you're supposed to put together, right? So don't think it has to be what I am doing in my present place of work. Some of you work for yourselves. So you have to think about, what impact am I presently making here? What insights can I draw from what I'm doing right now? How can I draw those insights to my essays? And yes, I've said personal and professional experiences, but don't feel the need that it has to be two of them all of the time. Sometimes we don't have our personal and professional experiences that actually relate to our program. Although I would always say that there should be something personal that would relate, because at the end of the day, the things that drive us are much, much more than our certifications and whatever we have. It's the passion, it's our goal, is a drive to make an impact. So I always believe that you should have something personal, even if it's really small. It might not be a deep story about an experience. It just has to be something that is driving you. Now, for some of us, we might feel like our professional experiences do not exactly connect. So I have people that maybe they're veterinary doctors or they've worked in agriculture all through, and they're thinking, well, I want to go for a PhD in finance. I want to go for an MBA. How does my professional experience prepare me? Well, your professional experience has not exactly prepared you word for word, but you need to think through, what are the capabilities that your professional experiences have helped you develop? and what are the capabilities that you need in this program. So things like analytical thinking, irrespective, right? As a veterinary doctor or as an agriculturist, you are actually doing a lot of analytical thinking. And that's probably very, very needed in a PhD in finance. So you have to think through those things in those ways. Don't think that it has to be apples to apples. You need to dive deep and say, what are the things that I get from my place of work? What are the skills that I've developed? And how can I mirror those things? There's something people used to say, and I always used to disagree with them because they don't look at it from a big picture. Like I always make reference because I have a lot of Nigerian examples. So I sincerely apologize to people here that are not Nigerians. I would just try to make the examples really simple. So there are things that, and I don't even think it's just Nigerians that do this. I just think it's people around the world. So they go to college or they go to high school, they focus on something, and then they start working in a totally different industry. And then they say, I have not used my bachelor's degree for a day. So maybe somebody studied accounting, for example, or biochemistry or something. And so I have not used this for a day. And the person works as a baker or works as a fashion designer. I'm always perplexed when people say they haven't used that for a day. Are you only seeing things from the front and you're not seeing things actually deeper? First of all, you went through 4 years of college and probably went through maybe 6 years of school, of secondary school, high school, whatever. You've been able to develop, they taught you finance, they taught you math, they taught you a whole lot of things, algebra. All of those things help develop things in your brain. And that's the only reason why you thought about even making a cake business or doing something in fashion designing. That's the only way that your creative skills actually expanded and are broader than the way you see it. So when people tell me, oh, I've never used my degree for a day, I look at them and I say, take those things back, right? The last 4 years that you spent in college, don't go and start your fashion design business just after high school. And let's see how you would perform. You wouldn't do as well because there are skills and there are things that you gain from school, from education, that's not exactly apples to apples. That's why you see a lot of companies, like consulting companies, they're like, oh, come with whatever degree that you have. That's because it's not just about what is you majored in. It's about the underlying skills and the values that the schools have been able to help you develop. Same thing, you should look at your work experience. It's not just about, oh, because I worked in a mini mart, because I worked in a hospital, because I worked in this, that means that whatever I'm going to do next has to correlate to that exactly. You need to look deep and figure out those things that you have gained. What are the values? What are the skills? How are you able to, is it your presentation skills? Is it how analytical you are? So you need to look deep and just don't look at the surface. So sometimes I'm really very disappointed even when top people say, oh, school is a scam, or I've never used my education for a day. Well, you can take back, you can reverse your education and see how your life turns out, if it's going to turn out as good as it will turn out right now. Most likely not, because a lot of those things that you have gained, no matter how you feel it's unrelated, going to the labs, doing experiments, all of those things, they build resilience in you. You've done a lot of experiments, you've done projects, they have failed, you have kept doing it. Those things build resilience that you use in whatever you're doing right now. So once you have that mindset, that it doesn't have to be apples to apples. I can think through my ideas in different ways, and I can figure out the value that I've gained from my professional experience, no matter how unrelated it might seem to my future graduate school goal. That's just the connection that you need. I mean, if you schedule like a one-on-one with us or you want to work with TitanRConsulting, we can help you actually go deeper to understanding how you connect those things. But I just want to leave you with the fact that don't think about your experiences just the way it looks like on paper, and don't discount anything that you have, because it's not just about that. It's not. It's about yourself. It's about what you are able to bring to the table, not just your certifications. If not, I wouldn't have been able to evolve myself from being a chartered accountant to getting into business school and working in marketing and now working in product management and also having TitanRConsulting. I wouldn't have been able to do that. Like literally, what are the things that I've done in my life? What are the experiences that have prepared me? The resilience, the analytical skills, being able to see the big picture, being able to communicate, helping people solve problems. Those are the things that you carry, right? So it's not like, oh, I solved audit problems here. That means it's just audit. And now if I want to go into cake business, that means it's totally not relevant. You solved problems. How exactly do you turn that solving problems in audit to solving problems in the cake business? That's how you're supposed to think about it. So I want all of us to have a change in our mindset, the way we think about things and the way we think about how things are connected. So don't just connect things from the surface. You need to dive deep, right, into how to connect this. And if you need, because I know some of the things I just said might seem really very vague and people are saying, what does this girl mean about diving deep? Well, schedule a one-on-one consultation with us using the link in the bio. And so the link in our, what Olamigoke has posted, and then we can get to talk to you. But if you're interested in learning more about our graduate admissions coaching services, you can just watch our videos first. I will always encourage you to watch our videos, especially if you're interested in the MBA program. I would always say learn about our graduate admissions coaching videos, then watch our Navigating the MBA admissions process webinar first. It helps us a whole lot because you know what you're at, you know the questions that you're asking me, you have a good idea. We're not starting from scratch, and it helps us be more, it helps our time be more useful to each other. So now we are up for questions. So let me know if you have any questions, like questions that you'd like to ask me. I am happy to answer a lot of our questions. I'm showcasing the next webinars that we have. Spotlight on the Masters in Business Analytics program is our next webinar. A lot of people have been wondering, well, I want to do an MBA and I also want to do a Masters in Business Analytics program. How is that possible? We're going to be getting people who actually are doing both to come and speak to us on the 16th. And if you're just wondering, I just want to do a Masters in Business Analytics, you can also attend the webinar. Then the Ideal Scholarship Hack, October 30th. A lot of us are thinking through, I want to get scholarships. I want to get scholarships. So if that's where you are right now, you shouldn't miss the webinar. Then acing your MBA admissions interview November 13th. And then the Spotlight of the Masters of Accounting program, November 27th, you should be attending it. Now, if you have signed up for the webinar event, that's the link, the Google link, the Google Forms, and you have selected any of these events, you don't have to sign up again. You would automatically be invited for the next one. So you don't have to sign up again, because I've seen a couple of people re-signing up. I get it. I love the enthusiasm, but you don't have to sign up again. Just sign up once and that would be it. So this is how you can reach us on WhatsApp, emails, our website, on our IG and LinkedIn and Twitter. We would love if you follow us on all of these our social media platforms, because we are always dropping gems daily. And if you're trying to get into graduate school for next year, I think following us would be really great for you, because you can get a lot of insights and you get to know a lot about our services. You get to know when our admissions course launches in a few days. You get to be the first people to get discount on the course. So please go ahead to follow us on our Instagram and our LinkedIn, Twitter, and send us an email if you have any questions. So I'm done with my presentation, and for the first time, we are actually on time, and I'm very excited about that. So I'm going to leave the remaining 8 minutes that we have on the call to get your questions. So I'd like you guys to ask questions, whatever questions that you have. And yes, I know Matthew, you have raised your hand. Let me see how many people. So have Matthew. So if you want me to call you, please just raise your hand. Use the raise your hand function on the Google Meet, on our Google video stuff, and then I can call you so that we're not talking over each other. So Matthew. You're on mute if you're speaking. So you have to unmute yourself. Okay, David, go ahead, David. I don't know what's wrong with Matthew's microphone. So David, you can go ahead to ask the questions.
Okay, good evening. It's evening from here. Hello, I hope you can hear me.
Hi, good evening.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so thank you so very much for the presentation for this and the previous one. It's been very much enlightening. I have a question that's probably not too related to today's session, but I think it's just all about the whole MBA stuff in general. Okay, basically, I'm a photographer, and that's what I do. I have a brand, and then just earlier this year, after I've had some experiences and some other things, I just felt the need to like go for more, and then I just thought of having an MBA as a business person. Okay, that was like the first thing that I just thought about. And then after a series of things that I had to go through, like read through and these seminars and everything. So I just felt like I have a little more insight into the whole MBA thing, and then the opportunities as well that, you know, the MBA itself can present. So I just felt like, okay, so I kind of have a little bit of a self-doubt, you know, if it's actually wise for me to do an MBA as a photographer. And then also I've been thinking of probably even switching up to something more corporate, like maybe into business consultancy or something like that. And then the doubt again is it actually possible to switch from photography into something more corporate? So I'm actually very, very much interested in the whole MBA thing, and I'm currently softly preparing to write a GRE, but I just kind of need, I want to hear what you have to say about that. So that's just like my areas of concern at the moment. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, David. So yeah, I get where you're coming from, because a lot of times we have been told that we need to have a particular type of experience to get into like business school, and that if you have started from maybe having your own personal business, you can get into maybe working in corporate or going back to be an employee. Something that I need to tell you is think about yourself as you're an employer of labor, or you're self-employed right now, and you probably employ other people, right? You have your own thing. You have something that is working for you. If you watch the Navigating the MBA program, Navigating the MBA admissions process webinar, we took you through like your different stages, like, okay, your test score, your undergraduate GPA, your years of experience that you need, your admissions interview, how you tell your story, your recommendation letter. So all of those things, and like I said, everything is not apples to apples. So you've been a photographer. So how long have you been a photographer for? And is that the only kind of experience that you've had? Those are the things that you would consider. And then in your entire photography journey, what are the things that you have experienced that has actually made you feel that I actually want to develop myself, I want to do something else? It's okay for you to say, I used to be in photography and I've worked for myself, right? And you might not even be working for yourself. You might be a photographer under another main photographer, right? And then you're saying that I want to get into business consulting after my MBA program. It's totally possible. Like a lot of people in the MBA program, they are from diverse areas. So we have people that have had their own businesses, like literally had their own businesses, and they're coming into the MBA program. They've never worked for anybody before. People that are music teachers, people that are just normal, like high school, middle school teachers, people that are doctors and have never done anything, accounting or anything before. And then we have people like me that are accountants, right? So it's an entire blend. So don't feel like it has to be just one way. And now the MBA program is even it's a face. We know that the MBA is diverse. There are programs that don't look as diverse, like maybe the JD program. That's the law program. People from very diverse backgrounds that have nothing to do with law literally get into the program. So it's your story that you are trying to tell, right? How exactly can you tie your present experience, personal and professional, to a future that the MBA will help you achieve or the graduate school will help you achieve? That's all you need to focus on, and that's all you need to bother about. So don't think that, oh, well, I'm a photographer. You have to just do some introspective thinking and think through, yes, I'm a photographer. These are the things that I've done. What experiences, what are the things that I have gone through? And when I say gone through, don't think that, oh, I've gone through something bad, because a lot of us think about going through things and like, oh, this has to be bad. No, it doesn't have to be that way. So what are the things that I've gone through, and how are those things helped shape my thinking into what I want to do going forward? Have they helped me identify the MBA as my next step? And what is the MBA going to do for me? So those are the things that you should focus on, and then focus on building the other parts of your application too. So yes, you said you are taking your exam, which is fantastic. I wish you success on that. But there are other parts of the application that you have to also focus on. So this is where you're going to be thinking through, what was your undergraduate GPA? What is the class profile of the schools that I'm interested in, right? So yeah. Then I hope I answered your question. TY Shabi, you have a question. You raised your hand.
Yes, I do. Hi, I wanted to ask, what kind of certifications would you recommend for like to add into your essay and stuff like that? What kind of certifications would you recommend to do?
So it depends, totally. It depends. I'm not a big fan of people just doing certifications for no reason. I'm not a fan of it. For everything that you do, you need to have a reason why you're doing it, right? So the reason why I put the certifications there is maybe things have helped you think about things from a different perspective. So let me give you an example. I started learning how to code at the beginning of this year. I joined the software development bootcamp because I just wanted to learn how to code. I just wanted to learn so much about it. Not like I wanted to be a software engineer or anything. So I started attending like my full stack development class just because I was interested in understanding the fundamentals of the technology that I'm very passionate about. So it's not like I was thinking through, oh, I want to get into an MBA program, so I think I need to go and take the bootcamp. No, I did it because there was something that I felt was lacking. And I felt like if I want to work with a lot of engineers, I need to understand how to speak their language. So that's why I want to do that. So peradventure, maybe I was just in undergrad and I did the software development bootcamp. If I'm telling my story, I can include it as, these are the things that I'm already even doing to prepare myself for the technology future that I've included. So maybe I said I wanted to start up like a tech company, maybe an edutech company, a healthcare tech company. And I can talk about how, oh, I've been able to be proactive to develop myself in that area. So it has to be something that is connected to something that you are interested in. So don't just go ahead to just take courses. Some of us have taken like maybe some courses in data analysis and all of those other courses, which is okay, like nice. You can talk about how those things have helped prepare you technically, analytically, quantitatively, right? Help prepare you for the rigors of the MBA program. But I don't think you should just go take courses just because you're trying to apply to the MBA, except if the course is directly related. Like if you can tell a story and weave it into your personal or your professional experiences. If not, it's just going to be, oh, I have all of these certifications, and it's not really about your certifications, about your story and the impact that you're planning to make, right? So it's more about that. I don't know if I answered your question, TY.
You did. Thank you.
Yeah. So Catherine said, must I have volunteer experiences to tell you my story? Well, I would say must, because there's nothing that is a must in this life. You have an option. But I would say it's good for you to have volunteer experiences, because for some of the questions that they would ask you, so aside maybe, like I said, for the MBA program specifically, you don't always get to have personal statements, right? So but besides that, you would get other questions that they will ask about, or how you made an impact in life of somebody, your greatest achievement, things like that. It will be really great if you talk about like your volunteer experiences. And particularly if you're interested in the MBA program, they want to see how you have paid it forward, right? Paying it forward is like what we say, giving back. So they want to see how you've paid it forward already, how you actually help to impact the lives of people that cannot give you anything back. So it's very good if you have volunteer experiences, and you don't have to make these things up. There are things that you already do. It could be in your religious organizations. It could be something that you already do for somebody that you haven't really thought about it as volunteering. So you have to really think deep And make sure that every little thing that you do from now till you write your essays, you're thinking about it. Oh, this thing I'm doing, how exactly does it connect to my story? How can I tie it into my story? So I would say you must have volunteer experiences. There's no must in this life, but it will be really great for you to have volunteer experiences, because these schools want people that have a diverse, they want somebody that is really very diverse. They don't just want somebody that, oh, very brilliant, great GRE score, great everything, and that's just all about the person, just professional experiences, nothing personal. They're going to be too boring for them. So it'll be good for you to have other things. So what of Nosa said, what of donating to your organization's corporate social responsibility? Yes, donating is good. I mean, donating is good, right? So it's the way you're going to be able to weave it. So donating is good, but you need to be able to tell the story about how donating to that particular CSR that your company or your organization is doing, how that matters to you, how that matters to you, why you actually have decided to do something like that. But yeah, donating is pretty good. It's pretty good. Yeah. But yeah, it's not just about donating. Donating, well, I'm sure you meant donating money. Yeah. But donating your time is also really, very important. So don't let us look at donating from just the money perspective. We also have to look at it from like our time perspective also. I hope I answered your question, Nusa. Yes, good. Awesome. I know I answered your question, Catherine. So we are time. Do we have any other questions for us? So I know Grace Daco, you said, how do you get your one-on-one coaching? Please, can you get the details that we put in the chat and send us an email? Or Olamigoke, please, can you get Grace's email address from the chat so we can contact her after the webinar? Good. So I will be stopping the recording right now. You will have access to the recording from tomorrow, as you always do. Please let us know if you have any questions at all. Please also give us some time to respond to our messages. We haven't ignored you. We are working actively to respond to all of the messages that you send over to us. For those of you in Nigeria that have a holiday, happy holiday, happy Independence Day to you all. For the rest of us in other countries that we don't have any holidays, we are back to work tomorrow to our daily grind, and I wish you all the best rest of your week. Keep soaring, keep being persistent and committed. This is a journey that you have to be committed to, and then you cannot waver. Like, you literally have to be committed to it every step of the way. I wish you the very best, and I hope to see you in 2 weeks.